Welcome to The Outfit. Today I would like to introduce you to our brand new 1975 Volvo C304, pretty much fresh out of the Swedish Army. Sweden produced thousands of these vehicles in a number of different variants. Their most popular one being the C303, which you can see behind me. That is the 4x4 variant, and it is 1 meter shorter than the 6x6, and of course doesn't have that rear axle to it. Now, Sweden shipped these to countries like Angola, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and they served in their militaries. And this was produced from 1974 into the early 80s. It has a B30 petrol Volvo engine in it, producing around about 125 horsepower and about 205 Newton meters of torque. It is like a twin carb unit, and they're known to be very reliable, but a thirsty old petrol engine. It is a true 6x6 in that it doesn't have a lazy axle, so this thing is unreal off-road, equipped with portal axles on all 6 wheels. So they call this the Swedish Unimog for obvious reasons. Now, the 6x6 version that we've got here is called a long body, and this weighs about 2.8 ton. Now, in terms of dimensions, the length of the 6x6 C304 is 5.3 meters long, 2.1 meters high, and just over 1.9 meters wide. So it's not a really big vehicle. It's much smaller than our Unimog over in Australia. And the reason it's nice and narrow is to navigate forestry roads, and that's going to work out really well for us here in Europe, and maybe when we ship it over to the States. Now, the Volvo is on drum brakes all around, and it is leaf sprung. It's a very interesting design in the back. It's got a huge amount of articulation due to the fact that there's one large leaf spring that spans the 2 wheels on each side. So there is actually only 4 leaf springs even on the 6x6 variant. And there is a lot of travel. Paired that with the portal hubs, it's a phenomenal vehicle off-road. It has vacuum actuated diff lockers, so you can lock up all 6 wheels nice and easy for going over your soft terrain so you're not losing so much traction. Now, let's talk about some of the variants that Volvo made for this. We had the 4x4 variant, which is called the Terrangabil 11 or TGB 11. I'm sorry, Swedes have probably butchered that name. This is the TGB 13, and then you had a few other variants as well. You had a TGB, I think it's called a 1314, which is the same as this, but not a long body. It basically, the long body's been taken off, and instead you've got an ambulance body as well. And then they made another 6x6, which is longer and a little bit wider. So yeah, a bunch of different variants. And then they also created one which the Swedes here call the Jeep. It's called the 1114, I believe it is. I could be wrong there, or the 41. And that is called the Tank Killer. So basically they just chopped a 4x4 variant from here down, put a huge roll cage on it, and put a giant recoilless rifle that's basically the length of the vehicle, and that was called the Tank Hunter. And these were produced to combat the Soviets during the Cold War. Obviously the Cold War isn't on anymore, so Sweden has basically sold all of these TGBs off. The civilians did get them as well. The Malaysian army got a ton of them, as well as like a telecommunications company in Malaysia as well. Now you'll find a lot of competition mud bogging trucks, and they're all running these Volvo axles because they are famous for being incredibly indestructible, and obviously being a portal axle that just wicked off-road. I will give you a bit of a rundown of the vehicle, but I literally drove it for the first time like 5 minutes ago to get it out of here.
We're out.
I know nothing about this vehicle, so I'm going to be learning as I show you. Please don't think of me as your resource for information on the TGBs, but I just want to show you our one that we just bought. We're very excited. We are going to gut the entire thing, do an engine swap, transmission swap, and turn this into our basically our house on wheels. So that'll be a big build series coming up on YouTube, but just like we did with our Unimog back in Australia, I wanted to show you at bone stock what we've worked with here, like why this vehicle is so famous and why, like, worldwide a lot of people really love these TGBs, and yeah, I'll show you why. Now you'll have to bear with me on a couple of things today. First of all being I am solo filming today, so I'm going to try and give you the best look I can, but please excuse my poor camera angles. And second of all, I'm so sorry for sniffing. I hate listening to people sniff on YouTube. I don't know why, it really triggers me, and I'm going to be doing it today. I've come from 42 degrees in Perth about 2 weeks ago, so it's like 5 degrees here at the most and really damp. So yeah, my nose doesn't know what's going on, so yeah, please excuse that. All right, let's have a little look at this bad boy. So as you can see, it is a cab over design, very similar to the Pinzgauers produced by the Austrians, and also the Land Rover 101 forward controls produced by the Brits. I'll just show you a few things on the outside. You've obviously got your blackout lights here, being military spec. These are for your placards here. The grille normally says Volvo here. This is taken a hiding, so I'm gonna have to fix this up and replace it. This funny little thing is the horn on the outside. This is to fill up the radiator with fluid, and this one is to fill up the blinker fluid. On the front you've got a tow point, and then as you can see, you've just got a huge amount of clearance here. These are the portal axles, nice and leaking. I have to fix those. And if you're unfamiliar with the portal axle, it basically means that the axle comes in here rather than at the center of the wheel, and that just gives you more clearance. So there is a couple of big gears going on in here, and that is also helping with your crawl ratios off-road. That's another benefit of the portal axles, or if you want to go fast on the highways, it's a massive negative. But yeah, I'll show you that in time. Now, the cab, this is all steel, zinc coated steel as far as I'm aware, and this is a join point. So that means I can effectively remove that body and it will just be a tray to here, and that's kind of what they did with the ambulance version, which I'll show you soon. You can see we've got the leaf springs, pretty basic. Show you in here, that's that single leaf spring that spans the two hubs. You got a grease point in the middle. You've got shockeys on either one, of course, and shockeys in the front. Fuel tank is underneath. That is only 85 litres, and there's not a ton of room for a larger fuel tank, so I think that's going to be one of the negatives of this vehicle for overlanding. Pintle hook on the back, which I'll probably change out so that I can carry some bicycles. Placards, of course, here. Jerry can holder, but I'm missing my jerry can. And this is where you fill up with petrol. So kind of a strange little design here being on the back and not somewhere like this. These are the famous wooden sort of boards on the side, and these are basically just for sliding through and banging off trees and stuff. I'll replace those, make those look real nice. But yeah, you can kind of see it's not a huge vehicle, pretty long but not too long. It's like a militarized van, which we really like. So let me jump into the cockpit and I'll show you around. Actually, before I show you into the cockpit, let me just show you the other variants. This is a very nice TGB 11, so the 4x4 spec, which has been repainted and looked after really nicely. So that's kind of what those look like, and you'll see these are the steel variants. So the rust is serious on these ones. Hence why the alloy zinc versions are becoming sought after and more expensive. And here is an ambulance spec. So you'll see that join was here. They've basically put in a panel in the back with a kind of a crawl through, I guess you could say, where you can see the troops or whatever going on in the back, and then they've just slapped this on. And then there is another variant which is slightly longer of the 6x6, and it's actually wider as well. So not a bad platform for overlanding in at all. So a lot of people would choose that one over the long body. We chose this one because it fits in a 20-foot container. The other one would be a little bit too big for that. All right, to the cockpit. All right, here's inside. Door panel is kind of made out of wood. Very Spartan in here, as you'll see. Very Spartan. So let me jump on up. One really tricky thing is just getting into the truck. It's just super awkward. I need to find out a way to, I don't know, streamline this. I'm sure there's better ways. Okay, we're in. You can close that up because it's freezing. Here is the dash. So I have no idea what anything does, so bear with me. I have found out this is a push start, so key, push start. I believe here we've got just obviously your signals for maybe oil pressure and things like that. You've got your basic gauges, you've got lights, windscreen washer as well. On the side here is just the indicator. There is no power steering, so it is hard to steer. We've got our heating, we've got blowers in the back and things like that, so I'll need to work out how that works. And there is some cases that go over here, which I'll show you. I'll put those on and take a clip of that so you can see, but this is with them off because I wanted to see what was going on here. Here's our brake fluids and our easy to get to fusing. So we've got a 4-speed manual with a strange little lever to get into reverse. So I learned that one today. I think that's your choke, obviously your handbrake. These are your diff lockers. I guess Fram Holes Drift is for doing extreme drifting in 6-wheel drive. And being a cab over, we can look directly down. And yes, that is the road. So this is that B30 engine. We got brake servos, we got the twin carbs. It's a 6-cylinder engine, known for being incredibly reliable, but I will be pulling it out, so I'm sorry to all those mad Volvo fans. I don't want to be spending too much money trying to get this thing really reliable and all fixed up, because it does need work. Don't want to run anything carbed, so I am going to be running something very different. You have to stay tuned on the build video for that. I really like that you can just look straight into the back like that. You can see the troops. So we've got seats here on either side, seats in the back, and then a large cargo storage area with a gun hatch. There's the blower in the back, which I'll show you soon. Batteries. But I do have enough room. The only kind of awkward thing I've noticed is that this sort of, I guess you could call this the frame or the pillar or the roof, is kind of in my vision. So if you're tall like me, I'm just under 6'2", I'm going to be sort of squeeging down to have a look up here. Got a good windscreen, but yeah, it's odd. Now one really cool feature is that we can unlock the windscreen and this will lift right up. Whoops, excuse me. Sorry to the, yeah, so that comes up right here, and these are to basically set it like so. I'll get some lengthened ones of these so that I can pull that windscreen all the way up. Now the doors, they're quite cool. They come off here and pull right out. I'll show you that on the outside. So from here they just lift up. Same with these, and same with the back. So you can pull those off and then we can pull the body off, and it's basically a full convertible, which is really neat. So if you wanted like a cool safari vehicle, you could just make a roll cage and take the entire top off, including the windscreen, which does come off from here. So that's a pretty neat feature. I don't know if we'll be doing that when we've turned it into our house, but it's a cool feature. Okay, into the back. Now this of course has covers, which I'll show you. I've just taken those off so we can actually see into the engine. This cover comes off even further, so you've got access to the 4-speed transmission and the transfer case. There's a big heating blower here. You've got the seats, not in bad condition. That's actually pretty good as well. And then you've got your gun hatch. So let me jump inside. Oh man. Oh. And here's the cupola. So this is the mount for a machine gun. I don't quite know exactly how it works. I've just seen pictures. I'll try and put one of those up on the screen. The gun hatch itself is really cool because it rolls. I'll show you that now. So it's on rollers. And down. And then that just rolls its way back. Pretty cool. All right. Now let's go into the boot. Oh, by the way, these are for stretchers. So when you've got injured troops, they can set stretchers up here and lie them along widthways. Huge space in the back. So this is what I really love about this vehicle. So just a ton of space. Here's where you can kind of see that this just pops straight off. It just fits down into it quite nicely, which is cool. Axe, shovel, and more stretcher positions here in the top. Tons of room and zero rust, which is really good. The only rust I've seen on the entire vehicle is just a tiny bit on those two braces for the rear bar. So I can fix those up no problem. I haven't seen any other rust. I might when I pull the body off, but I just cannot see a thing. That is what the cover looks like over the engine, which just comes straight off. And these are the two dashboard areas. So no actual cover for your glove box. You just got a little ashtray. And then you have a cover here to access the front of the engine. That about wraps up this quick little overview of our TGB 13, which I didn't also mention as well is called a Volvo C304. The 4x4 variants are a Volvo C303, so you'll hear them called that sometimes. Now, if you are after one of these, if you want to purchase one, hit up Bjorn. He is the absolute legend that I managed to somehow find on a forum. Sent him a message and he helped me buy this, inspect it for me, and this is his place which he's going to let me do the build at. Just a really, really cool, trustworthy guy, and I can see why these are being snapped up left, right and center. They are even being all shipped into the States at the moment as well. So if you want to get your hands on a nice alu zinc one, hit Bjorn up. I'll put his Instagram on there below, but I can personally vouch for him. He's a really good guy. So hopefully you enjoyed the walk around of this little mini beast. If you want to see more, and Jokes and I will be doing a full rebuild of this vehicle and engine swap. We're going to turn this into our little house on wheels and do some proper full-time traveling around Europe and then hopefully shipping it to the United States. So if you want to watch that, it is The Outfit on YouTube and on Instagram, and we will be doing a full build series on there. So thank you so much for watching. We will try and warm up.
Make sure to subscribe to follow.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Cheers guys. We'll see you on the next one.